everybody. Let me start off with an apology as we get started on this Spartan Deadeye. I think every piece of technology involved in this process tried to malfunction on me at some point, and I was trying to find a better camera angle, and it just was not agreeing with us. So, the Spartan's been based out in the dark camo green with the zenithal highlight of regular camo green, and now I'm going in with and washed with Army Painter Military Tone. So all those bases are done as per the previous Mark 7 video. I'm going in now with just straight camo green and doing my initial edge highlight. I mentioned there's some awkward camera angles coming up. You have better views of stuff on the Mark 7 video prior to this in some cases. Again, I apologize. Like I said, this video just fought me every step of the way. Alright, so we're wrapping up our edge highlights here on the Deadeye. Alright. After that, I went straight into the second level highlight. I just mixed in a little bit of neutral gray into the camo gray. Unless otherwise stated, all the paints I'm using are Pro Acryl, but any preferred paint brand is going to work, and whatever color you prefer. If you're trying to match this scheme, obviously, Army Painter, you're going to be looking for like Army Green, and I'm not sure what their darker version of green is anymore. With the second layer highlights, you want to stick to your light source side as much as you can, and you just want to make sure that you've thinned your paint and have a nice point on your brush, and try to stick inside your initial highlights. So I went to painting the black next, but as I told you before, all of my technology has been fighting me on this video, and I lost that footage. So we've gone to rich gold to do the visor here after we did coal black on the bodysuit and weapon. You also note the awkward camera angle. It is the proper way on my editing software, but no matter what I do, it won't flip properly. So I apologize so much. Moving into the Ultramarine, I'm going to use that to paint the shoulder pads and knee pads on this Spartan. I do think of the angles I tried, this is probably the better angle to actually see what's going on with the model. It's just at an awkward tilt. Really enjoy the way this blue offsets with the green. Hey, now we're back in the direction we want to be, but I choose the worst possible camera angle from here out. I'm mixing in faded ultramarine with my ultramarine for my initial highlight, which you're not seeing me apply because my meat digits are crammed directly in front of the camera. You can see this process much better in the previous Spartan Mark 7 video that I did. Fortunately, there's not much variation in the methods used to paint these, so. Now I've come in with dark neutral gray to lay the initial highlight on the bodysuit. And while I've got that out, I'm applying a quick dry brush of it to the rifle just to pick up the details of that. I feel it looks a little better than trying to force the edge highlight. Whichever method you prefer, obviously it's your model, or you could do a combination of both if you really feel froggy. I'm not sure what I'm mixing because I can't see through my hand. Oh, neutral gray into the rich gold to produce the slight highlight for the visor. Hey, camera's back in a better angle and in the right orientation. I've taken Drab brown and I'm going to apply a heavy dry brush to the base to bring out the texture a little bit. And as always, we're going to get that worked up onto the lower portion of his legs just to make him look like he belongs in that environment. Alright, Army Painter Strong Tone onto the base. Just to help bring out that texture. Back to our coal black, and we're going to rim that base. As I've stated before, if you'd rather use red or blue or some other color to denote your different squads, it'd be a good way of showing them off on the table and making them easier to identify. So I decided to get a little crazy here. I took a little bit of neutral light gray and I'm applying it to the scope, the laser sight, and the back of the scope. Now I'm going to use some fluorescent red and fluorescent green from Pro Acryl to daub over that light gray that we put down. Just kind of make these little areas pop out. I do red on the laser sight there, and then I'll do the fluorescent green on the Spartan side back of the scope. Whenever using these fluorescents to get them to pop, you really want to go over a light color. You could do straight white and it'd be even more punchy, but I had the light gray on the palette and it was close enough for me. So now what I'm doing is I'm covering up that light gray on the scope with a little bit of dark neutral gray, and then I'm going to hit it with the lighter version of the camo green on the underside to kind of give a jewel effect. And then we're going to add just a tiniest little drop of that neutral gray in the upper corner on the light source side, just to make it look like there's a slight glint on that scope. Now all that done, we're on to Tufts. These are 100% optional. I got them laying around, so I like to use them from time to time. I'm using Swamp and Woodland Tufts by the Army Painter. And here he is, all finished up. If you made it through this one, really appreciate you sticking around and watching the whole thing. This concludes tutorials for the 4 models required for the demo set. I think next up I might tackle one of the more unique models. Thanks for watching.